history is being made. The 27th of February 2024. The figure 27 is very critical. The 27th of August 2010, a new constitution was promulgated. That constitution is also being presented today. That constitution governs us as a country. The rule of law, the independence of the judiciary, and the strengthening of the Law Society of Kenya came to be born on the 27th of August 2010. Today, I present to the Republic the candidate the lawyers will vote for on the 29th of this month, Peter Wanyama. The reason for Peter Wanyama, and there are no excuses for that, are four. One, unlike the competitors who have made the Law Society of Kenya a career, people have been there for the last 15 years. They have not run their private practice. They have made the Law Society of Kenya, from the branches of Nairobi branch, it goes to the national office. We want a change. We want somebody who is clean. Out of the 5 candidates, only Peter Wanyama has never been a council member, has never been in leadership of the Law Society of Kenya. So we want to take home career people, career advocates who have made the Law Society of Kenya their place of choice. 2, mentorship is a product where students leave the Kenya School of Law, come for pupillage, and then they are admitted as advocate. Only Peter Wanyama runs a successful law firm. Only Peter Wanyama has pupils all over the whole country. Only Peter Wanyama has associates employed in his law firm. We challenge the others to show us who they have mentored, who they have been pupil masters, and their track record. Third, this is a man who has come from poverty, from grass to grace. Therefore, the question of money being stolen, the corruption at Law Society of Kenya will cease because Peter Wanyama has his own resources. He will not depend on the resources of LSK. To the surprise of many Kenyans, the Law Society of Kenya annually receives more than 1 billion Kenya shillings. Where does that money go? That is the money that we want Peter Wanyama to manage. Lastly, I bring to you a manager, a successful practitioner, a successful entrepreneur, a person with a family. His wife is an advocate of the Law Society of Kenya. We will be asking that for this time, we want a family man, we want somebody who is tested, who can provide the virtues and the morals and the values of Article 10 and Article 45 that provides for family values. Lastly, the debate about quacks. 2012, the Law Society of Kenya was in the hands of the likes of Akide, Eric Mutua. There were no quacks. From 2013-2014, quacks started entering the Law Society of Kenya. The people who allowed quacks to flourish are now pretending to be removing the quacks and arresting them. You cannot arrest yourselves. You cannot arrest vifaranga ulizozaa wewe mwenyewe. The only clean man is Peter Wanyama, who is coming without any taint, without any blemish. Allow me, the whole country, 55 million Kenyans, to present the candidate of choice, the man of power, the man who can deliver the Law Society of Kenya from the bondage that we have. Peter Wanyama, karibu.
Thank you. In the legal profession, allow me to once again reintroduce myself. My name is Peter Wanyama Ongrapus. That is the PMO. For those ones who are eager to know, I was born 43 years ago in the peas and farms in Bungoma County, a place known as Cheptais. Today I am standing before you to formally confirm that we have run a successful campaign for the Law Society of Kenya President. And I want to begin by thanking all Kenyans and advocates for believing in my cause. It is a cause that will transform the Law Society of Kenya, a cause that will reset leadership at the Law Society of Kenya. And we believe that under my tenure as Law Society of Kenya President, we will do what it takes to be able to once again reconnect with Kenyans. In terms of my campaign manifesto, it is based at the foremost on the question of protecting the sovereignty of Kenyans. And allow me to just say something here. To the residents of Vikobani in Milimani in Mombasa, if you are watching this coverage, just know that Law Society of Kenya has listened to your cry. That gas company that is emitting toxic waste to the environment, that gas company in Vikobani in Milimani in Mombasa, that is emitting a lot of gas, bad waters that has damaged the environment. Kids are suffering from cancer. People in Vikobani have health problems because of that gas company. I want to state that henceforth, the Law Society of Kenya will be responsible for the pushing through of the rights of all Kenyans, including the people of Vikobani in Mombasa, who yesterday went to the media and complained severely that the government of Mombasa, the government of Kenya, is doing nothing. NEMA, they are doing nothing to protect the residents of Vikobani from toxic gas emission. Under the Constitution of Kenya, every Kenyan has a right to clean environment. And it is the responsibility of the Law Society of Kenya, and under my leadership, to listen to every concern of Kenyans to ensure that we protect your right to clean environment, and we are going to do what it takes to immediately address that problem, the problem of Vikobani in Milimani in Mombasa. We will not allow Kenyans to suffer, yet Law Society of Kenya has a mandate under Section 4 of the LSK Act to protect the public and to advise government on legal issues. So to me, that I believe is a core function that we are going to implement. Members of the public just know that we are going to utilize our resources in the legal profession to ensure that we protect public interest of Kenyans. And therefore, the residents of Vikobani in Milimani in Mombasa, please, we are going into a new leadership from next week. When we get elected this Thursday, we are going to do what it takes to ensure that we immediately file a public interest case at the Land and Environment Court in Mombasa. We will liaise with the Mombasa Law Society to ensure that we protect your rights to a clean environment. And let this message go throughout in Mombasa and throughout Kenya, every company that is damaging our environment, we will do what it takes as Law Society of Kenya to provide that sufficient backing to you, because that is our mandate. Secondly, on the question of protecting the sovereignty of Kenyans, I also want to assure members of the legal profession and Kenyans that under my leadership as Law Society of Kenya President, we will fully protect your sovereignty. We will fully protect your sovereignty as Kenyans, because we know at the moment that you are actually suffering. The economic situation is not very good. Most Kenyans don't have disposable income in their pockets. There is a problem because throughout the household economy, we cannot afford basic services as Kenyans. So under my leadership as Law Society of Kenya President, I will do what it takes to ensure that we protect Kenyans from an aggressive government. We will look at and audit all laws which have been passed by Parliament to ensure that the rights of Kenyans are fully safeguarded. We will not allow under any circumstance under our tenure for government to increase taxes willy-nilly, to raid our pockets. You are suffering and they raid our pay slips. We go to the shop and you find the cost of goods and commodities is very high. And all that is the product of a regime that is really taxing Kenyans heavy. We will ensure that every taxation that is done by government protects the sovereignty of Kenyans. And if it is painful, Law Society of Kenya is going to resist these policies so that we are able to protect Kenyans from suffering. So I want to make that assurance that we are going to do mass public interest litigation to protect Kenyans who are arrested by the police for no reason, to protect Kenyans from government. Thirdly, on the question of the independence of the judiciary, let me be again clear here and consequential. The independence of the judiciary is very core to address the challenges that we are facing now in terms of ideologies. Law Society of Kenya is going to be very strong. We will protect Martha Koome, the Chief Justice, because at the moment we think that we feel in the legal profession that the Chief Justice is letting down Kenyans by trying to bend the court system to listen to the whims of the executive. So what we are saying is that as Law Society of Kenya, we don't want to lose an independent judiciary. So once you lose an independent judiciary as Kenyans, it will be really a major problem for us. So we are going to provide that buffer to ensure that we fully and strongly, stoically, and consequentially protect the independence of the judiciary in Kenya. What it means then is that the government of Kenya and all officials, starting from Nakuru, we have seen the War Memorial Hospital case, where there is massive disobedience of court orders. We have seen the president himself come out and say he is not going to obey court orders. And what the message that we are sending across is that Law Society of Kenya will speak up, and we call upon the president and the persons who are in the executive, including Parliament, to ensure that decisions of the judiciary are obeyed. As LSK, we will do what it takes to ensure that you follow court orders. And let me remind them here that the government has three legs: the judiciary, the executive, and Parliament. All these legs, in terms of the constitutionalization, they have been created by the people of Kenya in the sovereign document, that is the Constitution, and they have been given specific mandate. We urge the three arms of government to respect each other when it comes to exercise of their respective constitutional powers. We don't want the president to undermine the judiciary. We also don't want Parliament to undermine the judiciary, because the judiciary exists as a counterpoint to dictatorship and majoritarianism. The judiciary is supposed to speak for the Kenyans through the judgments, Kenyans who are oppressed. And when they issue decisions, we must respect those court orders. So for the governor in Nakuru, please, Governor, respect the court orders which were issued in respect to the war memorial case. And for the president, respect the court orders which have been issued by the judiciary in the housing sector, court orders which have been issued in the NSSF case, and many others which are going to come. The fourth message which I want to pass across again, so to the members of the legal profession, once again, let me reintroduce myself to you. My name is Peter Wanyama, candidate for Law Society of Kenya President, and I want to assure you that we are going to do what it takes to protect the practicing space. So myself, as Law Society of Kenya President, I will do what it takes to ensure that we strengthen the rule of law apparatus. We will offer very strong and strategic leadership that Kenyans feel. We will also protect our practicing space from quacks. We will do massive reforms to ensure that, and this one calls for strategic engagements with Parliament and all the other stakeholders so that we streamline our practicing space. We are going to do what it takes to clean up registration of companies. We are going to do what it takes to promote reforms in the land sector and also streamline litigation in the context of public interest litigation. So myself, I seek your support. I seek the support of Kenyans to be the next Law Society of Kenya President who will provide that consequential and strategic leadership that is needed to members of the public in Kenya. We are going to be extremely strong on rule of law. We will protect the independence of the judiciary. We will do what it takes to ensure that the government of Kenya obeys court orders. Court orders are not pieces of paper to be pieces of paper which you disobey. So we want to reassure Kenyans that we are here and we will protect you. And lastly, let me just send a message to the live persons who are watching from Milimani in Mombasa that we are going to do what it takes. We have heard your cry. The Law Society of Kenya is going to do intense public interest litigation to protect your right to a clean environment. There's a gas company in Milimani in Mombasa which is significantly damaging our environment. And Law Society of Kenya has a responsibility under the law to ensure that we protect your rights to a clean environment. We thank you for your support, the people of Kenya. And with respect to the other candidates, we urge you to ensure that you listen to the concerns of advocates. We urge you to, the concern of advocate is very simple, step down for a serious and consequential leadership. Once you have been to the Law Society of Kenya before, once you have been to the Law Society of Kenya before and you have done your work, please, no matter how good a dancer you are, know when to exit the stage so that we offer strategic leadership to Kenyans. So on 29th, I urge that all of us, the advocates and Kenyans, come out to support our bid for the Law Society of Kenya President. Thank you very much, and thank you very much indeed. Our systems, we are going to improve our IT platform so that we weed out all quacks who don't have a license. So what we are going to do is that we are going to ensure that there is a USSD code